Everybody, welcome to another edition of Shooting the Breeze. I am none other than your friendly neighborhood soda, joined as always by Big Fudge Ben Rayner. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm excited to talk about today's topic.
Me too. And returning for his second appearance on the show, we have none other than Scotty. For real is how I really know you.
That works. Scotty for real. Scotty St. Clair. Pleasure to be back. Had a blast on my last appearance. So thank you very much for having me back. Looking forward to another fun discussion. Me
as well, because this is going to be a fun one. It's a discussion that I actually have never really had ever. So I can't wait. It's just like my friends and I, like my friends are not really into movies like we are. So I don't have these type of discussions. And then this is just one I've never been a part of. But if you would like to introduce the topic, my man.
Oh, yeah, sure. So I was kind of given free lay of the land here to pick a topic of my choosing, and I went with video game adaptations, the best, the worst, the ones we want to see the most. I was kind of talking off air here. Not only did we have Mortal Kombat, get its theatrical and HBO Max release not too long ago, Castlevania Season 4 just released on Netflix, and I haven't watched that myself, but there's a lot of good buzz surrounding that series in terms of video game adaptations. So should be a fair amount of stuff to talk about. I'm excited to see your guys' thoughts, especially given, that this is one that you haven't really gotten to dive into. That's awesome. Yeah. I'm glad I could be here for that that christening for you.
Well, I've actually never seen Castlevania. I remember adding it to my watch list when I heard about it, but I never actually sat down and watched it. So that one's a little over my head.
I watched season 1, and I'll be honest, it's not a video game that I have a ton of familiarity with, but I thought season 1 was, very well done and entertaining. I haven't watched the subsequent seasons, but with season 4 coming out, I'll definitely have to go back to that.
What about you, Ben? Have you ever seen it, Castlevania?
No.
What's the first video game adaptation that you remember seeing? Because I can tell you which one I remember seeing, and it's not a good one.
Okay.
Super Mario Brothers. That's the first one that I remember watching that was like, oh, this is a video game.
Yeah, that's high up there on the list of stinkers. And,
it's been a while since I watched it, but I it's funny. That's the first time I ever also noticed the concept of re-release, because it did its original run and then they brought it back for like 2 weeks in my little small town theater months later.
Okay, interesting. Yeah. I want to say for me, I'm not 100% certain on this, but mine was unfortunately not a very good one either. I do remember seeing Mortal Kombat Armageddon pretty vividly. I think that was around.
Is that an animated one?
No, that was the sequel to the 95 one that a lot of people. Yeah. Oh, I said Armageddon. Excuse me, Annihilation. Forgive me. Yeah.
Actually, I think Armageddon is one of the video games, but I might be mistaken.
Yeah, maybe that's where I flip. But Annihilation, Armageddon, Annihilation, synonyms. But
I remember for some reason I rewatched that a lot when it was on VHS, but going back and watching it is such a terrible, terrible movie. And if you want to see it get shit on, go watch the Kind of Funny and review on it. Oh my Lord. They just take it to town.
Yeah, that one, it's not a video game adaptation, but I'll always associate it with Spawn. Spawn, I feel like, came out around at the same time, and they were both just these ones that relied way too heavily on these special effects that just weren't there.
Yeah, that's one I haven't seen. I don't know if I'll ever see Spawn.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say it's worth a watch just for the cultural impact it had in terms of how far we've come with comic book adaptations. But
I guess so. I also don't even think it's streaming up in Canada. So,
okay, fair enough.
What about you, Ben? What was the first video game adaptation you remember seeing?
I mean, either Mortal Kombat Annihilation or Super Mario Brothers, but yeah, you know what? To be honest with you guys, I had fun with Annihilation. I don't know why. I know it's a bad movie with a horrible script and dialogue, and I just had fun with it.
That's how I feel about another video game adaptation that gets shit on as one of the worst. Doom.
Oh, okay.
I've seen it the one time, but I had so much fun with that movie because it's like, oh shit, The Rock's a bad guy in this. Okay.
Yeah, that was a young Carl Urban. I think that might have been the first thing I saw him out of. outside of his role as Éomer in Lord of the Rings. But the thing that always sticks out to me about that movie is that they fully committed to like that final sequence where you get the first person mode really and like the guns right in front of you. It's really well done in that regard. There's some other things left to be desired there, but actually I would say it is one of the more solid video game adaptations, especially from early out the gate.
Yeah, totally. Like I've also never played the game, so I didn't really have any attachment to it. And for like everyone knows, this is not a video game movie, but it is an adaptation. Everyone shits on Dragon Ball Evolution. Same with me. When I saw it, I'd never seen any of the Dragon Ball stuff ever.
Okay.
I didn't have it, and I didn't mind it.
Isn't that with what's your name from Smallville, or am I confusing it with something?
I think you're thinking Street Fighter.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're thinking the Street Fighter sequel.
I didn't even know there was a sequel.
Well, I don't know if it's a sequel to the first movie, but I know that it's the second Street Fighter movie they made live action.
Yeah, I think it came out in like 2009, The Legend of Chun-Li.
Yeah, something like that. Okay. Yeah, I've got a list of right here, 2009. I've got a list of all the Hollywood video game adaptations on the go here. So
the main thing that sticks out to me about that one is that I did think it had at least one instance of pretty great casting. I want to say Neil McDonough played M. Bison. Yeah, and he's obviously been in tons of stuff. But we were talking about Marvel Cinematic Universe. He obviously had a turn as Dum Dum Dugan, part of Cap's Howling Commandos, and then on the DC side of things, he was Damien Dark. In a number of things. I loved him as Damien Dark. Yeah.
Me too.
Especially when he transitioned over to Legends, because Ben and I were talking about this yesterday. His tone, it fits more Legends, even though I really like the evil Damien Dark in the Arrow. The tone of him fits better with Legends. It was just so much fun.
I think Damien Dark worked best when he was with his daughter, and his daughter was kind of flirting with Ray Palmer at the beginning of stages of their relationship.
He's anything he pops up in, he's always great.
Right back to day number one. What was I say? I just recently watched the Angry Birds movie not that long ago.
Nice.
For a concept that doesn't really have a proper backstory, I think the movie actually did a really good job, and that's one that's not brought up in conversation for best video game movies.
Yeah, it's a great one to bring up, but I don't think people think of Angry Birds in the same way, and it totally is a video game. Like I won't argue that at all, but I think it's like origins as like a mobile game, maybe kind of differentiate it for people.
Generally, I'm thinking maybe because when you hear video game movies, you automatically think console PC. You never think your mobile device.
Sure.
Yeah, personally, I think as of right now, the best video game movie actually came out last year.
Last year? Okay.
Oh yeah, I know which one you're going. Yeah, Sonic.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'll be honest. I have not seen Sonic all the way through.
Okay.
It's not because I wasn't enjoying it. I did like what I see, and I do intend on finishing it. It was just at that time. I had to take a break. I guess there were other things more important at that time, but
that was the last movie I saw before COVID.
Okay.
Yeah, and it was one of those. I felt like the creepy old man because I'm a 33-year-old dude. And I look around, there's a lot of kids. I'm like, damn it, not again.
That was. Go ahead.
I really going to say that when I was happy to watch it from my house.
Yeah.
So I didn't have to be that guy.
The worst one was when I went and saw Alvin and the Chipmunks, and that was like, oh shit, in the Vancouver theater. Oh my god.
Okay. Lego Batman was that one for me.
I was
just like, I thought there would be more of a general age audience here, but no. I was
the weird
the weirdo.
one that flipped for me was Deathly Hallows Part 1. I was on vacation, didn't go anywhere, so I went and saw the theater midday. I was the youngest by 40 years in the theater.
Wow.
No joke.
Yeah, the first. This is kind of a little divergence here, but while we're talking about theater experiences, the first movie I went back to see in theaters was actually Godzilla vs. Kong, which was another film like Mortal Kombat that got both the HBO Max and the theatrical release. And I have an HBO Max subscription, but Godzilla #1 and then Kong, that's just something that has to be seen on the big screen. And for better or for worse, have you guys seen that?
Not yet. I haven't even seen the last Godzilla movie either.
Oh, okay.
I saw it. I had fun with it.
Yeah, I think I can say this without spoiling anything too much, but I think one of the best sentiments I've heard to describe that movie is that it is, for better and for worse, feels like it was written by a 6-year-old. So,
okay,
maybe. Well, it's Godzilla versus Kong, so I mean, it's inherently childish in some ways. Not to degrade it, but once you see it, you'll understand.
When it properly hits streaming up here, because Canada does not have HBO Max. So
sorry to continue to.
Oh, that's fine. That's fine. We have our own version of it called Crave, so we do get like the new show we do kind of get, and that's also that also has a deal with HBO. So a lot of the big HBO Max content, like Snyder Cut and stuff like that, gets released on this other platform up here.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
I always see the completely in the dark.
No. I always see the Crave logo come up when I watch Letterkenny on Hulu.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because it's a Crave original. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So, have there been any video game adaptations that have not happened yet that you would like to see? Like, I know this one's supposed to be in production, but I can't wait for the Uncharted because I love the Uncharted games. That's
one that's been pretty long gestating. So, that's one I'm excited to see. I'm a little iffy on the casting. I did like the production still that we saw of Tom Holland, but Mark Wahlberg as Sully is still not sitting. I'll reserve judgment, but I was imagining more of a Bruce Campbell type.
Yeah. After the Heath Ledger thing of all those years ago, I've learned not to dismiss any casting until I see the thing. But I'm with you though. That is a little bit of a weird choice for Sully.
Yeah. In terms of I before I get into ones that just have not been done entirely, Assassin's Creed is one of my favorite franchises out there. It fires on the video games themselves, in terms of like combining history, sci-fi, just action, all that stuff. It fires on all cylinders for me. But that movie with Michael Fassbender, it was just so disappointing for me because Michael Fassbender is one of my favorite actors. And I knew he was also a producer on the film. It was one of my favorite game franchises. I went to see it on my birthday when it came out. So it was just like, at that point I knew what I was kind of in for. It's one of those things that my birthday's in early January. So if it's not a Quentin Tarantino or a late Oscar film, that award season film that I'm catching, it's usually pretty garbage. So the other one that kind of sticks out to memory is I did see Frank Miller's The Spirit on one of my birthdays, and that ranks up there as a pretty bad one as well. But I just love movies.
My friends and I all went and saw and we're like, what the fuck are we watching?
Yeah. But correct me if I'm wrong here, but I think Netflix is supposed to be making a new series based on Assassin's Creed. So I think the series is the better way to go rather than a movie in this instance. So hopefully they get it right this time. I'm
with you. I'm a big fan of the games. I haven't gone too far into Valhalla yet, but I loved Odyssey and I loved Origins. Loved them.
Origins might be my favorite.
I wish they brought back for Odyssey the museum mode that they had in Origins. If you ever used that mode, it's so cool.
I did actually, yeah, I did, because Origins was one of my favorite. I felt it was a real return to form for the franchise. Yeah.
So if you're not familiar with it, Ben, basically museum mode in Origins, because the game takes place in ancient Egypt, you go into this and you do a virtual tour of all the places you go in the game, and they give you an actual history lesson on it.
Oh wow!
It's really cool.
Yeah, that is cool.
Yeah, I'm just, like I said, surprised they didn't bring it back for the last two. That would have been especially with Rome. Oh, it would have been a great one.
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah. What about you, Ben? Is there any video game adaptations that you haven't happened yet, or that are coming down the pike that you want to watch?
Besides that Tetris movie, No, actually, I'm looking forward to the animated Mario movie that's coming out next year.
Good call. Good call.
There's an animated Mario movie coming out next year.
Yeah.
I forgot that was in the works. Yeah.
I didn't even know that was in the works. So I'm down for it.
I think it's in the same style as Wreck-It Ralph.
Oh, there it is. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
As long as they get good voice actors, that should be pretty fun.
Anybody off the top of your head that you would fan cast, just out of curiosity?
For Mario?
Yeah, any of the major players.
You know what? Oh wait, no, I can't pick him. Damn it! I really going to say
with a good bass voice. Sorry, go ahead, Ben.
I really going to say bring Bob Hoskins back. But sadly, I forgot.
Yeah.
Maybe Danny DeVito. He would be fun.
That's not bad. That's not bad.
I'm trying to think for Bowser, somebody with like a deep, intimidating voice, like an Idris Elba.
Idris Elba's not bad.
The first name that popped in my head would have been great. Unfortunately, he's long since passed. Michael Clark Duncan, I think, could have done an intimidating Bowser.
Oh yeah, that's a great call.
How about what's his name? Doctor Strange.
Benedict Cumberbatch. Yeah, he's got a nice.
Benedict Wong?
No, the guy who turned evil.
Chiwetel. I can't.
Chiwetel Ejiofor.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
That's not bad.
If you want to see what he's like as a villain, like even more so, I recommend going watching Serenity, the Firefly movie.
Oh my God, he's great.
No, not the movie. He was in an episode of Firefly. That's what.
No, he really was in the movie.
I want to do a little bit of subverting expectations. Oh, sorry. I want to subvert expectations with some of my voice casting for Toad. Everybody familiar with the character Toad?
Of course.
I want Jason Mantzoukas for Toad.
Oh, that would be awesome. I love Mantzoukas. He's one of my favorite parts of Invincible.
Oh, you've seen Invincible. Yeah. That's the main reason I bring it up. Ben said he hadn't seen it, but if had we been able to discuss that one, I would have had a lot of fun discussing. I thoroughly enjoyed Invincible. Yeah.
I'm doing Breaking Bad. You got to do Invincible. Who else do you have for fan casting? It sounded like you had some more, or was it just Toad?
No. I actually, now that I'm put on the spot, I apologize. I don't have anybody else loaded in the chamber. I was just trying to.
I have one more for Cooper. Bryan Cranston.
Okay.
That's actually not bad.
Yeah, I could see it.
There's one I'm surprised they haven't done yet because of the digital age we're in. I'm surprised nobody's touched Donkey Kong yet. I mean, I know we have the TV show, but I'm surprised nobody's done a feature-length animated film.
If you think about it, isn't that just a King Kong ripoff in a way?
Originally, yeah, but if you go with the continuity of the country video games, the original 100% King Kong, like that's just blatant. But I mean, if you were to follow the Donkey Kong Country canon,
yeah, but to me it seems like whenever they do an adaptation, they're adapting. They're not following any continuity for this movie.
Yeah. No, I know, but what I mean is there's. No,
I get what you're saying. I'm saying they're not going to do that. You know, anything that you do will be.
Hey, doo-doo. Yes, I'm a 30-year-old child.
No, I heard it too. I just resisted the urge.
Yeah.
No pun intended.
Yeah, no, I'm surprised they because video games are ripe for the animated genre. Like I'm looking at there's only been 4 live action video or animated feature length video game movies.
Mm-hmm.
One that I kind of go back and forth on, and it falls in the Nintendo realm as well. It's been long talked about, but I actually wonder how effective they could do it is Legend of Zelda, because with the character of Link, like you very much embody who Link is. Like Link is the avatar for the player. So like, how would that resonate with audiences if it doesn't really matter who they cast or how they decide to portray the characters? He's like, sharp and witty and cracking one-liners and stuff like that. Like, not everybody's like that. Some people are more like, the reserved, geeky gamer. Like, will they lose a little bit of that by not being able to, see themselves in Link as much.
Things about adapting video game adaptations. That's what a lot of people were saying about Assassin's Creed. Like they tried to do their own original thing and it didn't work, but that's just what a lot of people were afraid of as well for that, I remember.
I might be wrong, but isn't Netflix doing something with Zelda?
I think they are. I think it might be another animated series. It might be live action.
So.
Yeah.
I believe so. But yeah, like I said, I'm shocked that there's only been 4. Final Fantasy, The Spirits Within, Ratchet and the 2 Angry Bird movies. That's it.
Yeah.
Everything else has been done live action too, in a lot of cases, not to great reviews.
Very true. Very true.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't want to do. Well, you didn't finish it. I was going to say, what did you guys think of Jim Carrey as Dr. Robotnik?
Oh, I thought he was great.
I liked what I saw.
Yeah, it reminded me of Jim Carrey of old.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And I'm not going to spoil anything, but there is a mid-credit scene just if you ever decide to finish it.
Okay. I'm pretty sure it's got a sequel. Like
that is true.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think they finished filming.
Oh wow! I didn't know that about it. Wow.
I don't know. Last week I think they were still doing it because I was seeing set video pictures from Vancouver about it, and they revealed that Tails and Knuckles are going to be in the sequel.
Ooh.
Yeah, because they got things. They had like these things like what I have behind me, but of those characters as stand-ins for what they can animate them later. So they had Tails and they had Knuckles. I was like, oh, that's pretty damn cool.
Sweet. So I wonder if they'll like bring in the Chaos Emeralds and stuff like that because yeah.
According to feedback, they finished filming.
Okay.
Oh, cool. I didn't realize it was that fast track. No pun intended.
I think it's coming out next April.
Sonic the Hedgehog 2, April 8th, 2022. Yep.
Yeah.
Wow! Holy cow!
Yeah,
good for them.
Kidding. And I'm hoping they hire the people that worked on the first one to do it because they got screwed over at the very end.
Yeah,
that was not good.
Yeah.
Thank God the movie did good.
Yeah, right. Yeah, made it all worth it.
Now sorry. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say before we entirely shift topics, one series that I would have to bring up, like I would kick myself if I didn't mention it, but Bioshock. Like I don't know why Bioshock has not been done yet. Like that's one of those ones. The world of Rapture is so rich. Just the themes, everything they're tackling, and the narrative is so well done. I don't know why Bioshock has not been
I don't know either.
attempted yet.
I think it's fallen into the same category as Halo, where it will eventually happen, but it's just you gotta break a lot of eggs before you get it.
Well, Halo did that short series Forward Unto Dawn.
That is true, but I'm talking they've been trying for 20 odd years to do a live action movie, right? So that was
live action.
Oh, I don't think I've actually ever heard of it, to be honest.
It was I think it only ended up being like a 10-15 minute thing, but yeah, it's I would definitely recommend checking it out. Even if that's all that comes out of Bioshock, I would just like to see somebody take kind of a stab at bringing a Big Daddy to life.
Mm-hmm. That's how I felt when I saw the Nathan Fillion Uncharted video.
Yeah, good call. Yeah, that was great to see.
Let's actually flip this topic around a little bit, because I know that this is not really something you see a lot of nowadays, but growing up, you saw a lot of video games based on movies. Was there any in particular that stick out in your mind? Because I am one of them is my favorite game of all time.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I do. I have fond memories of playing the Blues Brothers 2000 on my N64, but I don't think that was that great a game.
No. Very rarely are those adaptations good. Like, what about you, Ben? Did you ever play any video game adaptation or movie adaptation video games?
Not bring up the obvious one before anyone forgets it. GoldenEye.
Oh yeah, of course.
Ooh, yeah, that's it.
That damn multiplayer. Ugh.
Who here hasn't been on to meet with your friends in that game?
What I hated was when the computer would play as the villain from the GoldenEye movie, because I would stand there and shoot him point blank in the head, and then he'd shoot me and kill me. I was like, what the hell?
You mean Sean Bean's character?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good old Sheen Bean.
Yeah.
Yet another movie he dies in.
Yeah, that's true. What's funny is he is not the actor who's died the most in films. That's John Hurt.
No kidding.
Yeah, John Hurt.
Interesting.
No, I was gonna say, like, I grew up during the heyday of my video game fandom, which would have been the Super Nintendo years into the N64. I played a lot of adaptation video games. Like, I played all the Super Star Wars ones. I played like Aladdin, Lion King, all those.
I do remember playing some of those. Yeah.
Yeah, Batman Forever still makes me want to throw my controller through my TV. Yeah, I did all those games, but absolutely my favorite of the bunch, and it's one I just wrapped again for like the 10th time or something like that last year, The Godfather, the video game.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it was originally released for the Xbox and the PlayStation 2, and then it got ported over to the PS3 and to the Xbox 360. But basically, you're an original character, you're doing your own thing, but every once in a while you get weaved into storylines for the movie, and they brought back Robert Duvall, James Caan.
Wow.
Yeah, it's such a good video game. It's done in the GTA style.
Nice.
But yeah, you can relive a lot of the classic moments from the movie, and that's what got me into the movie was the video game.
Interesting. Wow, that's a cool way to approach it. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what would make a kick-ass video game and I'm so surprised nobody has tried?
Okay.
Alien. How fun would that game be?
I think there was Alien Isolation.
There have been Alien games, Ben.
And Alien Marines.
Yeah, like not like a direct adaptation of the movies, but they've done. Yeah, there's Alien.
Space Marines.
Space. Something like that. Something Marines. There was Alien versus Predator, which was a lot of fun. That was one of those like tag type of games. And of course, the best one, Alien Isolation, which is a game if you have your surround sound plugged in or your sound bar, it elevates it, and do not have your microphone turned on either while you're playing the game, because if somebody accidentally says something or makes a move and the microphone picks it up, the alien is on your ass and you're dead.
Well, you mentioned being a fan of the N64 era and Star Wars. I do have to mention Star Wars Episode 1 Pod Racer. That was definitely a favorite of mine. At one point in time, I could have told you every single pod racer on that starting lineup for the Boon to Eve Classic just because I played so much of that game. But these days, I can only remember Rats Tyrell. R.I.P.
Yeah. You remember more than I do, and that is a game I also probably not as much as you, but I played quite a bit when it came out. That was such a fun game.
Yeah, it was a blast.
Yeah.
Ben, did you play it? You played some GoldenEye. So.
I'm sure I have. I didn't forget. It's been so long.
Sure.
Yeah. But if we're talking about adaptations of video games, I do want to bring up the most notorious one of all. I'm sure you guys are familiar with E.T. on Atari.
I heard of it. I never played it.
I've only heard the legends of it. Yeah.
Yeah. Have you ever heard the legend, Ben?
Yeah, it's so bad that they like buried it or something, right?
They did. Yeah, that was their legend for a long time, that they buried all the copies in a landfill, and that's all. It just kind of fell into the wind and stuff like that. But they actually excavated, and yes, they found the cartridges. It was 100% true. They proved there's even a documentary on it called Atari Game Over, where they go through the history of Atari, but it also interweaves with the search for these video games and the dig. It's really fascinating because the game makes no sense. It's such shit.
How bad can it be when you have to bury it?
I've got. Well, okay, so hold on, see if I can find the. Okay, so here's the effects, the video game burial and stuff. As early as January 1983, after Atari admitted that the game had sold poorly, an industry executive said that the lesson of ET has not been lost in the industry. The game is cited as one of the main causes of the video game industry crisis of 1983. Billboard magazine reported that the large number of unsold ET games prompted retailers to demand official return programs from video game manufacturers. By the end of 1982, Atari had begun to lose dominance and more competitors entered the market, basically because of the reception, because of the lack of profit from the marketing. They lost a $536 million in 1983 money.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that was kind of like Cyberpunk 2077 before Cyberpunk 2077.
Yeah, yeah, kind of. And like this game, like literally the movie is the boy finds the alien. They got to try to figure out how to get him home. No, this is basically the game. It's a top-down perspective game. You have to try to collect 3 pieces of interplanetary telephone, and basically you have to find them in all of these various pits. There's Reese's Pieces, and that's about it. Yeah.
Phone home.
Yeah, it's this is still from the game. It's like it doesn't even look like ET.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
Basically, and these right here are the pits, and that's all you do is you fall into them, get what's there, and you climb out.
Wow.
And if they go in the documentary, they go into the whole story of it and stuff like that. And basically, it was Atari got really cocky and they rushed production to meet the demand for the movie. And yeah, it's a documentary worth watching.
Well, I'll definitely add it to the watch list, like Cap said. I'll add it to the list.
Yeah, it might still be free on Xbox Live Marketplace. That's how I got it.
Oh,
it was free on Xbox.
Okay, nice.
Yeah,
I'm an Xbox gamer, so yeah. I'll
there you go. Yeah, fascinating story.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well,
Did
after you
hear
done?
me?
Sorry. Please, after you.
No, after you, please.
I just wanted to mention. I know I'm kind of changing gears as far as topics go,
That's
but
fine,
I had a couple of I had a couple of ones that have not been tackled yet that I definitely want to see.
Yes.
Are you either of you familiar with the Dishonored series?
Familiar with it? Yes. Never played it though. I think
Okay.
I might have one of the games somewhere on one of my Xboxes.
If you have Xbox Game Pass, both are free on Xbox Game Pass.
Yeah.
So,
It's something to do with superpowers, no?
you're basically in a Victorian like steampunk setting, and it's all about betrayal. But yeah, you're basically what I really like about the games is basically it's an open sandbox, and you're set in this very, very rich world, and basically you can make it through the entire game without killing a single person if you choose to. But depending on your actions, the game world is very reactive, and the narrative changes wildly and drastically based on your decisions. And it would just be really it's got all of those elements. It's got swordplay, gunfighting. It's very swashbuckling. There's a lot of mystery and intrigue, and it's just a world that's like super ripe with the supernatural elements and whatnot too. I would really love to see it adapted in some form, if not just to bring it to more people's attention to play, because I'm more of a casual gamer, but it's a game that I've spent quite a lot of time on just because the replayability is there.
Yeah, that actually sounds pretty interesting because I've always thought the steampunk always look well on screen.
Oh yeah, it's great. It's really cool.
Yeah. So, like, I just want to hop back to Cyberpunk for a second. Why do you think it failed so much? Like, that's just crazy. This game had so much hype, and then just poof.
Yeah, it was one of those ones. I'm still on. I haven't gotten an Xbox Series X or a PS5, so I'm still on the last generation. It was one of those things. In like the last 3 weeks leading up to the game, I was paying a lot of attention to it because I was obviously really excited for it. Yeah, but they just weren't putting out that gameplay footage, so I was like, nope, I'm not. I've learned my lesson from previous pre-orders. I'm not getting burnt this time. So I really do. I mean, there's been a lot of discourse surrounding that, but it was basically, CD Projekt Red, a lot of mismanagement, coming off the success of The Witcher 3. They had a lot of eyes on them. There was a lot of pressure to deliver this next generation experience, and they should have waited at least another year. And
yeah.
They pushed it out before it was ready.
And forgive me, this is a Keanu Reeves game,
Correct,
right?
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't know it failed.
It tanked pretty quick.
Wow.
Don't get me wrong; it's got its fans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just it's not the worst video game ever. It's not the worst selling video game ever. It's just it didn't live up to the it didn't live up to the expectations at all.
So maybe it's a more disappointing game?
Yeah,
it was riddled with bugs and glitches, and it was pretty unplayable for a lot of people. But the main thing was that the current gen version was practically unplayable for a lot of people, and yeah, they just put out a product that was not there, and they took people's money and they took people's pre-orders on false pretenses. So
the WWE 2K20 did a similar situation. Like they didn't release any stills or anything like that, or any gameplay footage up to the release of the game, and they got it. And like I never had this issue with it, but a lot of people were discussing about just a lot of glitches and lags and like really stupid things happening. Again, I never had any of those issues, but I don't play online, so to see some of those glitches is just so wrong. There's one where the referee's counting the 3 count, but the way the glitch, it looks like he's humping the chest of the female wrestler. It's so wrong. So wrong.
Yeah. You gotta wonder if that was like a disgruntled employee that like purposely put something in there. If it's like,
no, what happened was it out of nowhere it switched to a different game developer, and they didn't have the engine that the previous one had used. So there was a lot of what they ended up doing was, because it failed so miserably because of that, they did release one last year, but they're releasing a new one this year because so they took their time to get everything down pat. So hopefully it's a major upgrade.
Okay, yeah.
Were you into the Mike Tyson boxing game?
Was it Mike Tyson's Punch-Out?
I never played it.
I rented it for like a weekend, and I remember me, my dad, and my brother had a lot of fun with it, but it was never a purchase for us.
I never played it, but I did play a Rocky video game that was similar.
Of course you did.
Shut up. No, in 2002, they released a fighting video game that was based on the Rocky franchise up to this point. So you did your training, and then once you finished the chapter, you'd face off against Apollo Creed, and then like you win the movies. And it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it.
Did Stallone do the voice?
No, they didn't. They just used stuff from the movies.
Oh.
This was back in 2002, so they weren't really doing that type of stuff a lot in big games at that point, or not in big games, in smaller games.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, I never played the sequel to it, but yeah, no, I remember this. I remember this being fun. The boxing mechanics weren't that great, but it reminded me a lot of Rock'em Sock'em at times. Yeah, but no, it was an overall fun game.
Bloodsport? Was that a video game?
No, that was just an original idea. That's just so fucking bonkers.
It should be a video game. That would be one that
would be
right for a fighting game. Yeah.
Like a Mortal Kombat style game or something to just fight your way through the Kumite. Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah.
Did you guys ever play Mortal Kombat vs. DC?
I did. I think I might actually still have it.
I didn't play that one, but I did play Injustice, which I think was made by the same developers. And Injustice is just...
Oh, yeah.
If you're a DC fan in any regard, that's some of the best DC
Speaking
content out there.
They did just announce yesterday that they're doing, I think it's not a live action, a feature-length animated version of Injustice.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah. They announced that along with the new Batman series done by Bruce Timm and a new Superman series as well.
I saw the announcements for those series, but I missed the announcements for the Injustice film. That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I can't wait, because just the idea of a bad Superman, it's just awesome to me, especially seeing it happen. When it happened in the game, like, holy shit.
Yeah, his motivations are there. No spoilers for anybody that hasn't seen it, but it's a very compelling arc for everybody involved.
And I heard the video games that spun out of that take place, but not the video games, the comic books that took place between the two movies, I heard are really, really, really good.
Oh, I have no doubt. I have no doubt. And I mean, I think Zack Snyder's been on record saying that he borrowed a lot of inspiration from the Injustice.
I wouldn't doubt it. I wouldn't doubt it. There definitely are some elements for sure.
And I think his plans for 203. God knows if it ever happened or not, but they were going to go down that road with Superman.
Sure.
Which would have been fun to see. Would have definitely been better than Evil Superman from Superman 3. Which is another movie video game adaptation I remember playing.
Oh,
I
nice.
didn't know they made a game from that.
Yeah, they did it for the NES.
Okay.
Yeah. I remember trying that. There was a Rambo video game that I couldn't get my head wrapped around. There was a Three Stooges video game that I just loved. Because, you're like 5-6 years old. What do you know? I've only ever been invited to one preview screening, and actually, funny enough, happened to be for video game adaptation. Have either of you seen Need for Speed?
No,
With
good.
that's with Aaron.
Yeah, Pinkman. Yeah, Aaron Paul.
Aaron Paul. Yeah. I wanted to say Jesse Pinkman, but yeah, I have actually not seen it. No, I have not.
It's surprisingly really good.
Okay.
It's one of those. It's a revenge type story, but it's done pretty well.
I know the ending for it, and I'm cool. Well, I almost wanted to say something, but it's a Breaking Bad spoiler, so I'm not going to.
It's because I'm in the middle of the Breaking Bad thing right now.
Well, once you finish Breaking Bad, if you're not watching Better Call Saul.
Yeah. That's the plan.
All right. Very good. Very good.
For the last little bit, let's transition into Mortal Kombat, because that is the most recent of the comic book. Not comic. Why do I keep saying comic books? Video game adaptations. What were you guys' thoughts on this? I thought it was amazing.
I think amazing is a little bit of a stretch for me. I had a lot of fun with it. I think it's one of the better.
Also really high while watching it, so that might have attributed to it.
Fair enough. That's the way to do it.
Yeah.
Kano was a highlight for me.
Oh God, yeah.
I like Mortal Kombat. I'd obviously seen Annihilation, not Armageddon, but I'm such a casual fan that I didn't know until after the fact that I guess the main character of Cade is not somebody that's actually from the video games. Apparently, like they made him for the movie, which is, I guess that's been met to varying degrees of acceptance or what have you. But for me, the standout was I'm losing the character's name now. I've said it every other time, but the multi-armed.
Oh, Goro.
Goro, yes, the special effects with Goro, like that was fantastic. I love that entire fight sequence.
Yeah, that was really cool. I like the Sub-Zero Scorpion fights at the very end. But what I really liked most about this is that it subverted expectations. We didn't see the tournament. It's the lead up to the tournament. I really liked that.
Sure.
Yeah.
The standout for me was Jack. I thought they got that character right. The new character was cool for me. But I think it would have played better for me personally if at the end of the movie he became a new Scorpion.
Huh.
Oh yeah. That would have been so bad.
I liked Kung Lao quite a bit too.
The kill where he bifurcates that winged woman. Yeah. Nitara, I think her name is. Oh my!
I think that's right, Nitara. Yeah.
Gory.
Flawless victory.
Yeah. And I like that they didn't shy away from the gore that you get in the modern Mortal Kombat movies. Like I don't know if you've ever played those, but those can get pretty brutal. And the movie was honored that legacy.
Oh sure, yeah. What do they call them? Fatalities?
Yeah. I'm just glad they didn't do like Babality or anything like that. Just some of the really really bad ones. And
ultimately, I think they nailed. They got rated perfect.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah, no, all the characters were done pretty well, and what I like is there's no big names in this cast.
I think the biggest name for me is Zach.
Yeah, Mcdonough Brooks is probably the only person I recognize, really.
Yeah, there's nobody, just Mcdonough Brooks, and that's it. As a wrestling fan, I recognize the name of the actor who plays Reiko because he used to wrestle like 20 odd years ago. But that's it.
The guy that plays Scorpion, I hate that I can't think of his name off the top of my head, but he's been in a lot of like Marvel stuff. He was in the Wolverine. He was also in Endgame.
He wasn't he the Silver Samurai in the Wolverine?
I think he was the son of the Silver Samurai.
Oh, yeah, right, yeah.
I also know him from Lost. I think he was in the final season of Lost.
Oh, okay.
Oh, was he? Yes, he was. One season, yeah.
Yeah.
What's his name? If you have it pulled up there, I
His name in Lost is Dogen.
What's the actor's name? Do you know?
Oh, Hiroyuki Sanada.
Ah, Hiroyuki Sanada. Yes.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, that scene that opened with him and his family and stuff. That was a really well done scene. You got everything that you needed to know. The emotion hit you right where it was supposed to. Like, it was really, really well good. And I like how it gave the origin of the spear.
Yeah, definitely.
It kind of reminded me of the backstory of Mcdonough from which one was it?
The first X-Men. Or X-Men and X-Men Origins. X-Men Origins, I guess, is the more fleshed out one.
No. The
What, in Apocalypse, when he has the family in Apocalypse? Yeah.
Was it Apocalypse?
Yeah.
When he's living in the woods? Yeah.
Oh, that scene. Yes. I for some reason, I was thinking about when he gets captured in Nazi Germany and they try to... That's what I was... Apocalypse, yeah. Okay, yeah, you're 100% right. It's exactly like that scene.
I'm trying to forget that movie, but...
It's not, you know what, dude? I'm in the camp of it's not as bad as some of the other X-Men movies.
I haven't watched it since I saw it in theaters, but I thought it wasn't outright bad, but its sin was that it was more boring than Dark Phoenix for me. Like, Dark Phoenix might be a worse made film, but I've found myself more engaged with Dark Phoenix than I ever was with Apocalypse.
That's the one I haven't seen. Is that one? Okay. I still haven't sat down and watched it yet. I think I it's one of those, I bought it. I'll watch it. I just never did.
You're not missing anything to me anyway.
Yeah, it's really not anything to write home about. But I for what it's worth, I did think it was better than Apocalypse just based on a first viewing. I haven't seen New Mutants though. So.
Yeah, me neither. I haven't seen that one either. A little reticent to do that, unfortunately.
I think we can all agree that the X-Men movie is Logan, right?
Oh yeah,
hands down. And have you guys ever read the source book for it, the Old Man Logan book?
No.
I have familiarity with it, but I have not actually sat down to read it.
So one of the there's definitely some differences in there. Like, for example, in the book, the United States has been separated into different areas run by different people from the MCU. The most memorable one is the Hulk's region, where he went insane and he impregnated She-Hulk, his cousin. And
so basically, the hills have eyes. Yeah. The hills have Hulks.
Yeah, exactly. The Hills Have Hulks is what it is. It's just like, okay. And he's introduced to his daughter, who I can't remember who the wife is, but I just remember she ends up turning on him and leaves him for dead. And Hawkeye is his companion. He's blind. I think, and he might be missing an arm. Yeah, it's completely out there, but really good.
Yeah, I think you're right about him missing an arm, which is kind of funny because I remember in the CW verse, that was one of the things they did to Green Arrow in the future version of him.
Well, that's the thing. I couldn't remember who did it because I know they've done it in the Dark Knight Returns. He was missing an arm.
Oh, was he? Okay.
That is actually from the comic books, but I just couldn't remember if they also did it for Hawkeye and Old Man Logan.
Well, it wouldn't be the first time Marvel copied DC. I mean, Darkseid existed before Thanos, so
Yeah, and Deadpool's a ripoff of Deathstroke, right?
Oh, Wade Wilson, Slade Wilson. Wilson, it's right there. Yeah. What were you going to say, Ben?
I was going to say who came first, Wade or Slade?
Slade.
Slade by a long shot.
Yep. Slade, I can't remember exactly when he debuted, but he was a long-standing foe of the Teen Titans who had a strong run through the 80s. And then I can't think of the guy's name. Rob... The guy that created Deadpool.
Rob
Liefeld. Yeah, Rob Liefeld created him in the 90s, in the heyday of pouches and...
Slade Wilson's first appearance was New Teen Titans #2, December 1980.
Cool. I think would love to see that Batman Ben Affleck in the movie with Batman vs. Slade. That would have been so cool.
That is a villain I'm really shocked they never actually tried up until this point on big screen.
There, at one point in time, there was a Deathstroke film in the works that was supposed to be done by the same guys that did The Raid, if I'm not mistaken. And I was
but I think
super excited for that. Yeah.
I think it fell on the wayside of like Nightwing and Batgirl and all that stuff. But I do remember that. But just because he's an enhanced human, like I'm surprised they haven't brought him in yet for anything. Because I mean, it's very, it's the way he hunts after people is very interesting to me.
I loved him at Neville. I loved what they did with Neville.
Are you guys, either one of you, like really familiar with the character? Because I happened to read the run that was coming out in 2016. I can't remember any of the writers or artists, unfortunately. Yeah. What I really appreciated is it really showed his parallels to Batman. He actually has like his own butler and stuff like that acts like his Alfred very much. That's like a former operative and whatnot. I want to say it's
Wintergreen.
Wintergreen, yeah, that's right. Yeah. Good call. Nice.
Yeah, that's kind of from the original run. Like Wintergreen's been around since the beginning, but originally he was more like a mentor.
Okay.
So that's pretty cool to hear that they made him kind of like his butler. I like that.
Yeah, it was really interesting.
Yeah, no, I just think it's a fascinating character, and the fact that he has two children. One who was driven insane and ended up cutting off her eye and being the female Deathstroke, and there was two others. I can't remember one of them, but there was also Jericho, who he couldn't speak, but he had the ability to, like as a ghost, go into your body and control you. That would be able to get your things across. He was part of the new Teen Titans, and they ended up becoming one of their villains, because they all thought he died, but right before then he managed to transport his being into somebody, like his consciousness, and then years later it got awoken and it taken over, and it became one of the villains by hopping through people's bodies.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, the Teen Titans got some really cool stuff. Like everyone's saying, like they want to see like Young Avengers, and they want to see like the next team. The Teen Titans is who I want to see as the next team of film.
Have you seen Titans, the show?
I started it, never finished, just like with all the rest of those live action TV shows.
I haven't been exposed to as much as like the actual comic source material when it comes to the Teen Titans, but I definitely liked and I haven't seen as much of Teen Titans Go, but I really liked that series that came out before then.
Oh, the anime style one?
The original Teen Titans that came out on Cartoon Network before Teen Titan Go. Yeah. That was some of my first exposure to some of those characters, especially like Cyborg and Raven and Starfire.
Did you check out the Teen Titans versus Teen Titans Go movie they did?
No, I didn't actually. Yeah,
I definitely worth checking that out. It says basically they get brought in, they fight against each other, and they team up. But standard fare, but I think it's worth watching.
I have a question for you guys. Seems like you're both into comics, and I'm not. Cyborg, exactly how many teams is he a part of?
Well, now it's solely the Justice League. But you're right. He's been in a lot. He's been affiliated with the Teen Titans, Justice League, Star Labs, and the Doom Patrol.
Oh, interesting. I didn't know about the Doom Patrol.
Yeah, I didn't know about the Doom Patrol either. I always thought it was Teen Titans, and then
you guys have to watch the Doom Patrol. So
it's on my list. It's been recommended to me quite a lot.
It's on the first. I've seen the first season, but actually, if I were to recommend a show that came out around the same time, I would recommend The Umbrella Academy. I didn't know anything about going into that. That show is amazing. So good.
That's another one I've had highly recommended to me, and I've slept on for whatever reason. So
it's funny seeing this teenager that looks like Adam Goldberg acting like a 60-year-old man, entrapped in like a 15-year-old's body.
Does he really look like Adam Goldberg?
I find he does.
Yeah, funny.
I find he does. But no, it's a really good story. In the last season, the Elliot Page's character, he had a same sex at the time, I guess would have been a same sex relationship. Picked it on that, which I thought was pretty interesting. Time travel, all these really fascinating things.
Yeah, I've only heard the best stuff about it. I'm one of those weird people. I haven't had Netflix in a while. I kind of hop around on which streaming service I have at any given time. But Hulu's been my kind of go-to for a couple of years now, but Amazon's obviously doing great things with The Boys and Invincible.
Yes.
HBO Max has a lot of great things going on. I mean, talking about all this DC love, I'd be remiss if I didn't bring up Young Justice and the Harley Quinn animated series. Like, oh, dude, if you're a big DC guy,
yeah,
Young Justice.
Yeah, Young Justice was one of my favorites. The Harley Quinn series, I've only seen the first season, but I do plan on rectifying it because I really enjoyed it. I thought it was great.
Mm-hmm. I have another show to recommend for you guys. It's a Marvel show. It's on Hulu for us. I don't know for you, Matt, but it's called like Gifted.
The X-Men one?
Yeah, the X-Men one. It's a 2-season show. It's great.
All right.
Yeah, I've heard of it.
Didn't it originally air on Fox?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And then, Legion is one of my favorite series. Noah Hawley, between Legion and Fargo, that's some of my favorite TV. I could have an entire conversation about either one of those series, but just on the subject of Hulu and Marvel, MODOK does drop tomorrow. So
yes, I'm wondering where it's going to be on here because I really want to watch that.
Mm-hmm. I'm super excited for that one.
That's one of those things, like, you hear that and it's just like, what world am I living in? You're getting a stop motion TV show on MODOK with Patton
Oswalt as MODOK. Yeah.
Did you see the set photos? He's actually in the MODOK costume, so you get the feel, and then they motion capped his facial reactions onto the character.
Oh, I had no idea. No, I'm so glad you told me that. I'm gonna have to look that up. That's
I'm gonna try to look it up right now.
That is awesome.
Yeah, I can't wait to watch that because Patton Oswalt is the best.
Oh, he's great. Yeah. And I love how that whole filibuster he did on Parks and Rec is basically what we're living in right now.
I know, right? Like, how that's pretty awesome that that's all off the top of his head.
Yeah.
I haven't seen Parks and Rec, but I haven't seen that filibuster.
Yeah, and don't worry, Ben, we will rectify the Parks and Rec.
Yeah.
Parks and Recommendations.
Oh,
yeah, right. I love that show. My best friend introduced me to it, and can't get over that show. It's just so good.
Oh yeah, I'll probably get some flack for this, but for my purposes, I think it ends up being a higher quality show than The Office. Just like The Office should have stopped while they were ahead. I love The Office, but I think Parks and Rec ends up being a tighter show overall.
Yeah, I really like The Office as well, but Parks and Rec was the one I came to first, so for me that was the standard.
Okay, interesting.
Okay, so I just found a picture.
Yeah, I haven't seen this too.
Yeah, Jason Blum shared it because he's producing the show.
Ah, nice.
So they actually did a MODOK costume with Patton Oswalt.
Oh, that's great. That's great.
Yeah, I can't wait. Like, I'll watch anything Patton Oswalt's in. He's one of my spirit animals. he has this bit, basically where he's saying about how it pretty much seems like anybody can go up to the White House and ask and just randomly ask them to make something law. And his example was he went up and is just like, it says here in this here comic book that I can get a Green Lantern ring. I want my Green Lantern ring. I'm butchering the bit, but it's worth looking up. Just look up Patton Oswalt Green Lantern. It's too funny. There was another bit where he was talking about how he was living in New York, and he took his dog to the bathroom to go for a walk to go to the bathroom, and they came across a crackhead giving somebody a blowjob, and the crackhead getting offended that Patton Oswalt started them. Yeah. And on that note, thank you very much for joining us, Jay. Where can the friendly folks find you?
I'm not doing too much on Twitter these days. I should do more on Twitter, but if you want to follow me on Instagram, you can follow. I do, cartoons, movie mashups, at Scotty for real. That's JSCOTTY 4 REEL. And I do have a podcast, if you don't mind me plugging it. I've talked about a couple of animated series here. I have a podcast that I do with my buddy Zuhair Ali. It's called Animation Deliberation. Our tagline is that we are the podcast that takes action, animation, and cartoons seriously, but not too seriously. So wherever you find your podcast, Apple, Stitcher, Podbean, all that stuff, we should be on all the major platforms. So please give us a listen, give us some feedback. We're a relatively new show, so 5-star reviews are immensely helpful. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate the opportunity to have this fun conversation with you guys.
Dude, it's always great having you on because you're so knowledgeable about the stuff we talk about, which is always good.
Thanks.
Yeah. And Ben, what about you? Where could everybody find you?
You guys can find me at Ben_Ranger on Twitter. Every Tuesday right here on Shooting the Breeze. Every Friday on Recapping the Past. Every Saturday on Get Ready. And also on Saturday, Matt Schmodown, the Schmodown show I do. We'll be going into players' careers. This week we are going into the career of one classic Clark Wolf. And we might have a special guest on Saturday, which is good.
I'm gonna have to ask you off camera about that. As for myself, you can find me on my personal Instagram and Twitter at soda_the_saxman. You can also find me in all the shows that Ben has mentioned on this show, because pretty much all the shows on this channel that we do them together. And then you can also find me over on my other channel over on Schmoes of the North, where every week we have 2 episodes breaking down the matches of the week. This week we're going live to cover the rubber match of Marek Konopik versus Mike Kalinowski for the Inner Geekdom title. So definitely don't want to miss that. And don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel, to everything that J. Scotty St. Clair does, and of course to Schmoes of the North as well. And on behalf of these 2 gentlemen, I would like to say thank you very much, and we will see you next week on not recapping the past, Shooting the Breeze. Yeah. Shooting the Breeze. That's the one. We'll see you next week. Don't forget, folks, stay